think I've unlocked the secrets to espresso in the birthplace of espresso, Italy. This place has been here since 1720. These tables actually swivel because the women had those large braces underneath their dresses. Wow, look at this room. This is like Xanadu. It's like a piece of art. Kind of like driving the stick shift on an old car. Ooh, look at that nectar. Oh, I have arrived.
For over 20 years, I've traveled the world searching for exceptional coffees. But among the greatest treasures I've discovered along the way are the incredible people, their fascinating cultures, and the most awe-inspiring landscapes you could possibly imagine. Now, I have the opportunity to show you a different side of the world through the lens of coffee. Italy. Famous for its art and architecture, this country also plays an important role in coffee's history. And it starts with the fact that it was a major maritime power during the medieval ages and the Renaissance. I've come to Venice today in search of the truly classic Italian espresso. And what better starting point than the place that coffee first arrived in Europe? The different neighborhoods of Venice are all connected by bridges and canals, so it sort of goes without saying that the best way to get around the city is by boat. These gondolas, which might seem like a fancy method of transportation, can actually be very practical. Floating through Venice, it's easy to imagine the city 400 years ago as a flourishing trade center. The Grand Canal is one of the primary waterways in Venice and was a main thoroughfare for trade with Egypt, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and even China. All sorts of goods were transported beneath these bridges, including gems, silks, spices, and of course, coffee.
So in the early 1600s, Venetian traders started bringing this strange black brew here from places like Egypt and Turkey, and people were afraid of it. They thought it was the devil's brew, and until Pope Clement VIII tried it, he thought it was fantastic. He's like, we should baptize it. And the floodgates of coffee opened.
Once coffee beans arrived in Venice, it wasn't long before the first coffee shops began to pop up. In the early 1700s, one of the places to enjoy a cup of black brew was Piazza San Marco. Known as the political, social, and religious center of Venice, Napoleon was said to have called it the drawing room of Europe. I'm here today to visit a place that, in my book, is really significant to coffee's history. Café Florian claims to be the longest continually operating coffee house in Europe, and I must say, it's pretty mesmerizing. This historic coffee shop has been on my list of places to visit for a very long time.
This place has been here since 1720, and you can see so much history around right where I'm sitting. I mean, this is where Casanova used to hang out. It was the only place actually that allowed women, so no surprise there. Charles Dickens used to come here. Andy Warhol's favorite table is right out front. And, you know, I can't even start the list because basically everyone has been here at one time or another. That's fantastic. Oh. So for me, it's like I'm back in time. You know, it's like nothing has changed. It's the finishings. Everything's the same as it was when they restored it in 1850. And the rooms are the same as 1720. But I feel like I'm a part of this history. I can sit here and think about what these people thought about and some of the changes that happened, all from coffee. That's what's so fascinating about coffee is that people don't realize coffee has literally changed the course of civilization because people, instead of sitting around getting drunk, sat around and actually had intellectual stimulation.
Café Florian started out as just 2 rooms, and although it's been expanded over the years, it's retained a lot of its original charm.
Look at this, the tables swivel, and it's because the women had braces for these huge dresses, so you'd have to move the table over in order for them to be able to sit down, and then you could set it back. So it still operates as if it were the 18th century.
But it's not just the coffee culture that makes this place so special. For over a century, Café Florian has been famous for exhibiting incredible works of art on its walls. Although Europe's history of coffee began in Venice, the classic espresso I'm looking for was developed a little further north. Today I'm heading 160 kilometers northeast of Venice to the seaport of Trieste, which teeters on the very edge of Italy, and it's just a few kilometers from the border of Slovenia. Trieste is home to one of the most renowned Italian coffee companies in the world, and it's there that my journey into the art of espresso begins. Coming up. So I'm heading over to Illy headquarters to meet Moreno, and I figured when in Trieste, it's all about the mopeds. With close to half the country's coffee coming through the port here, Trieste is one of Italy's main trading centers. The city itself is very cosmopolitan and just exudes class. The Triestini have an infectious passion for art, literature, music, fashion, and of course, coffee. In fact, Trieste is known as the coffee capital of Italy. So I'm heading over to Illy headquarters to meet Moreno, and I figured when in Trieste, it's all about the mopeds. Illy Coffee has been around since the 1930s and is now served in 140 countries. They're known for their mastery of espresso, and I'm going to meet Moreno Faina, the director of Illy's Coffee University. He suggested we start our day with a visit to one of his favorite cafes.
It's like 10 o'clock almost in the morning, and I think it feels like in the history of my life, I've never gone this long without coffee.
Moreno has been in the business for over 30 years, and I think it's safe to say that no one knows the coffee culture in Trieste like he does.
Joy, take care. When a barista offers you a glass of water with your espresso, you must drink before a glass of water to clean perfectly your baths, to prepare your palate to live the experience.
Okay, I see now.
Sure.
Moreno definitely knows what he's talking about. The people of Trieste drink twice as much coffee as in any other part of Italy.
I was thinking this is a macchiato, but you're saying this is a
Gocciato. Okay.
gocciato.
You
Sounds so
call
much
it
better.
macchiato, but in Trieste is called gocciato.
Now, can you get gocciatos in other parts of Italy?
No, just in Trieste.
So you have your own drinks.
Yes.
And you know, I'm starting to realize, you told me before that this is sort of the coffee capital of Italy.
Yeah.
And this building has something to do with coffee, I have the feeling.
Of course. There's the stock exchange for cafe in Trieste.
That's the stock exchange for coffee?
Yeah, sure.
Italians have a saying, La vita inizia dopo il caffè, meaning life begins after coffee. And so, when we've finished our cups, Moreno takes me on a walking tour of the city. There is no shortage of cafes here. The early coffee shops in Trieste date back to the 1800s, and the traditions here have been going strong for over 200 years.
Cheers.
A fun way to travel here is the Opicina tramway. It's been around for over 100 years, and it's a mix of tram and funicular railway, meaning it uses cable traction to get up the steep slopes. The Trieste Opicina tramway is definitely one of the best ways to see this city.
You get real Italian culture. I mean, it's just there's so many, it's so clean and it's just real crowded. There's minimal tourism here, but it's real Italy. You've got all the history. You've got Roman ruins that go back to 200 BC. Fantastic art, and then you have this sort of merging of Eastern Europe. Because you're right. You're 10 kilometers from Slovenia, the border of Slovenia. You can go over there and go have a beer in the evening.
But there's definitely no time for beer today. I'm still on my mission to understand what makes Trieste espresso so special. For that, Moreno is taking me to the University of Coffee. I think you could say this is arguably the most important room in the building, Illy Café's research lab, and this is where all the coffee samples are analyzed to see whether they're good enough to be purchased. And I must say, it's quite an intriguing process. Some beans are discarded immediately due to obvious visible defects, whereas others have to be tested. To do this, the beans are first rubbed on sandpaper and then sniffed to determine basically whether they're good or bad.
Ooh, a stinker.
Stinker is one of the worst.
Yeah, it's awful. It's smelling awful. I guess that's part of the thing. You have to smell awful things too
Yes,
when you have this job. It's not everything's perfect.
Take care.
Once a batch of beans has passed this test, they still have 2 more testing stages to go through before they're deemed worthy for roasting.
That's a serious roastery right there.
The 4 machines here are running 16 hours a day and roasting 360 kilos of coffee at a time. That's close to 800 pounds. During the roasting process, the beans will lose roughly 20% of their weight.
We have just one roasting facility. This.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Man, well, that makes sense because you
And
have all.
we distribute our cafe starting from here, worldwide speaking, everywhere.
Right, you've developed the technology that allows you to roast in one place and maintain the freshness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is my room.
Wow, look at this room. Oh my goodness, look at this. This is a total teaching room, huh?
Moreno isn't called the coffee professor for nothing. Here in the university, he shares everything he knows about coffee with people from all over the world. They can even teach in 3 different languages simultaneously. And that's why I'm here today, to be a student. I'm looking forward to gleaning Moreno's knowledge of the art of espresso.
Okay, interesting. I love it.
Lever machines like these have always been my very favorite, and it's an amazing opportunity to get to refine my techniques with the masters.
Did you put a bunch of booby traps in here
Yeah.
for me? All right, should I go for it? Can I take over?
Absolutely.
Can I drive?
Okay, you can
Okay,
drive.
I'm
You have
gonna
the
drive.
car.
It's a little nerve-wracking to have all these guys watching my every move.
I think. We'll see. We'll see if I did it right. Now.
And go down. Okay.
Ooh, look at that nectar. That's looking tasty. People always talk about espresso, where the word espresso came from. And it just means like fast served for you, right? But I wonder if that word came from the train, right? Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
chugga, 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 chugga. Right? Kind of, maybe? They're like, he's crazy. This guy's crazy.
And now for the moment of truth. Drum roll, please.
How does it look? Does it look okay?
No.
My first attempt did not make the cut. I poured a double shot into a single cup and didn't allow the appropriate time for extraction.
You need
The professor says I must do it again. Take 2.
Here's where I broke. Professor, what do you think? You want to try it? See if it works out okay? I'm pretty happy with this one. You like it?
It's not perfectly balanced.
Is that my fault?
No, it's a little bit burned. It's a little bit too bitter.
I'm learning quickly that crafting an Italian espresso to Illy's high standards is not as easy as it looks. And according to Moreno, the preparation of this espresso requires a very specific methodology and lots of practice.
So I really think I've unlocked the secrets of espresso in the birthplace of espresso. Ciao.
After testing my espresso making skills at Illy, it's time to continue my journey. And I have it on good authority that a few hours from here, there's a barista that I most definitely need to meet.
Coming up, we're at La Marzocco Espresso Machine Factory. It's really more like a museum because these machines are a piece of art.
Florence, the cradle of the Renaissance. Some of history's greatest architects, artists, thinkers, and political figures were born right here in this city. 15th century Florence was an exciting place to be. It was a self-governed republic, and thus tremendous wealth and innovation was accumulated here. Most commonly known for its stunning buildings and vast collection of art treasures, Florence also plays an important role in the story of coffee. Around the world, specialty coffee is currently experiencing its own sort of renaissance, and there's an espresso machine manufacturer in this area that's right on the cutting edge.
So Florence is like the birthplace of Renaissance, and when most people come here, their first thought is the Duomo, Ponte Vecchio, or they want to see the David. For me, my first thought, is La Marzocco.
La Marzocco started making espresso machines back in the 1920s, and they had a high level of influence on how the very first espresso was developed. From Florence, it's about an hour's drive to get to the Marzocco factory. Despite the traffic, Italian drivers have a love for speed, so I should be arriving right on time. Once I hit the open road and climb the hill out of Florence, you get to the top and the views are just really impressive. The Marzocco factory is located in the quaint little Tuscan village of Scarperia. Founded in 1306, it was world-renowned in the medieval ages for its craftsmanship of hand-forged knives. Now, thanks to La Marzocco, it's also known worldwide for its custom-crafted espresso machines. I'm meeting Enrico Worm, their service manager, for a tour of the factory.
Enrico!
Hey, Joy, welcome to La
It's so
Marzocco.
The machines in here date back to the 1930s, when brothers Giuseppe and Bruno Bambi first started their business. In those days, they operated out of a workshop to create unique espresso machines for each customer.
They were traveling every day to Florence to ask the barista how they want the machine, which color, what material, what shape, what size, and they were customizing machine on the customer's demand. So it's like Taylor does with a suit, they used to do it with machines.
It's so interesting to see these old machines all seemingly in brand new condition. I mean, the first espresso machine I ever owned is here, and it brings back lots of fond memories.
It's really more like a museum because these machines are a piece of art. And that's what I love about espresso is it's not just what you smell and what you taste, but it's the experience. And they bring the experience to a whole nother level because the machines are so beautiful that when you have great coffee coming through a machine like this, it's a whole nother drink.
It's factory tour time, and I'm getting to see the process firsthand. Every single machine here is made to order.
When I told you that we produce machine on demand, I was not joking. Every machine already has an owner, and well, that's the specification card that says the preference. According to the preference of the customer, we are building a machine.
This machine, for example, is going to a customer in the Netherlands, and they've already specified exactly how they want it to look, including specific accessories. The level of craftsmanship here is incredible.
So most machines are built on conveyor belts, but of course, because they do everything custom here, theirs are carts. Each machine has its own cart.
The carts can be moved around the factory to each different stage of the production process. The type of stainless steel they're cutting here for the water boilers is actually a proprietary secret. All of the materials they incorporate into the machines are precisely engineered. The final step in the process involves extensive testing to ensure the machines are worthy of the famous Marzocco lion, the ancient symbol of victory and conquest from the Florentine Republic. Now it's time to taste some espresso.
So I always tell people that, espresso and coffee are just so different from one another. Espresso, you're taking this finely ground coffee, so you have to use high-pressured water to push the water through the grind. So you're actually getting something from the coffee that regular gravity-fed coffee in a drip brewer, does not access. One of the things I love about this is that, to me, it's like coffee is not just the taste and it's not just the smell, but it's the experience. It's the people you're with when you're drinking the coffee, but it's also the machine you're looking at. You know, this piece of art. It's just beautiful.
Sure. So can I brew some coffee for you?
Please do, man.
One of the first steps to making a good espresso is what's called dialing in the grinder. It's all about ensuring that the grind is just right to achieve a balanced extraction, and thus, the best possible taste.
Can you see the texture of the crema? It's silky, very smooth, shiny, and a good indicator of a good cup of espresso is the pattern, which is tiger skin.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Coming up, where Ethiopia is the heartland of coffee, Italy is the heartland of espresso. Wow, this has got to be the best espresso I've ever had.
I'm back in Florence to meet someone who's also become a very significant part in this Italian espresso renaissance. Espresso is such an important part of everyday Italian life that they serve it everywhere. And the word on the street is that due to economic challenges, many roasters have begun using higher and higher proportions of Robusta in their blends. Ditta Artigianale, however, is sparing no expense in using Arabica beans to establish their own unique flavor profile and texture. In Italy, espresso is all about on the go. Most Italians drink their coffee standing up at the bar. Chairs and tables are for the tourists, and drinking your coffee there can actually cost you twice as much. Locals will go to the same cafe every day, so the baristas just have to see your face to know exactly how you like your coffee. The barista here is arguably one of the best in the world.
To me, where Ethiopia is the heartland of coffee, Italy is the heartland of espresso. And so when I came to Florence, what I wanted to do the most was come visit Francesco Sanapo, because he's taking espresso to a higher level. Although the espresso in Italy is unique and it's where it came from, Francesco is taking it to where it's going to go, and it's an exciting place for sure.
It's too much.
Francesco has been named the national champion of Italy 3 times, and I can only imagine how tough the competition is for that coveted title. His mission is to educate the customer about the finer points of espresso, ensuring that every one of them has the very best possible coffee experience.
Many people, they drink an espresso like a medicine, just to wake up. So, notice.
They don't care about the taste.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want this in my coffee place. For that, every person who comes in my bar, I have to stop them and to explain my way to drink coffee. And now I want to do this with you.
I came all the way across the ocean for this,
Okay.
man. This is what I'm looking forward to the most, honestly.
Okay,
This is very cool. I'm so stoked. Wow.
Okay. This is the shot.
Okay.
Now, I want to share this with you.
It already looks so good.
First of all, swirl the cup like
Okay.
a glass of wine.
Like wine, huh?
Yeah. And then, smell it. You can find it.
A lot. There's a lot going on. Definitely very floral and herbal. And
It's really interesting. So,
wow.
now
Yeah.
we can share the espresso in 3 sips.
Okay.
First of all, take the first sip.
All right.
In this part, you will enjoy the fruity acidity with the citrus notes.
Definitely.
Then, swirl again
All right.
and take the second sip. In this part, you can enjoy the sweetness.
Definitely. There's a lot going on in the palate.
Yeah.
And I like that it covers my palate evenly. It's like a warm
Completely,
blanket, you know?
completely.
A lot of body, a lot of
Yeah.
sweetness.
On the third and last sip, what you can enjoy is the continue the sweetness with the chocolate flavor.
I'm telling you, man, honestly, it's like just gotta be the best espresso I've ever had, honestly.
Oh, wow.
Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah, really. This is good,
Wow,
man. This is really good.
You make me so happy because what I'm doing is to try to change something in Italy.
Francesco represents the new generation of baristas, and his ceaseless pursuit of excellence is infectious, to say the least. Throughout the years, visionaries like Francesco, Café Illy, and La Marzocco have impacted the history of espresso, not just here, but around the world. I've come to realize that much like art, literature, and architecture in this country, there's an artistic nuance and distinct craftsmanship to every aspect of the Italian espresso experience.